A special message from Chief Justice Paul Newby.
It's the duty of the North Carolina Judicial Branch to uphold the constitutional guarantee that the courts shall be open and that justice shall be administered without favor, denial, or delay. The Judicial Branch is committed to ensuring that individuals with disabilities have an equal opportunity to benefit from all court services, programs, and activities. Many disabilities are not immediately visible or noticeable, and some disabilities create differing levels of challenge based on a variety of factors. As part of our commitment to provide excellent customer service throughout the court system, each county has at least one local judicial branch official or employee who serves as a Disability Access Coordinator, or DAC. The North Carolina Administrative Office of the Courts provides training to equip and assist all DACs as they serve the public. You can contact your county's DAC by email at countyname, like Wake, countyname.dac@nccourts.org if you believe you may need an accommodation. Providing reasonable accommodations ensures equal access to the court system. This month, we're happy to celebrate the 31st anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act by offering a new public service announcement video that explains the process to request a reasonable accommodation in North Carolina court.
Access to justice for persons with disabilities in North Carolina courts. Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, applies to the services, programs, and activities of state and local governments. The North Carolina Judicial Branch is committed to ensuring that individuals with disabilities have equal access to all functions in state courts. One way the Judicial Branch guarantees equal access and participation is by providing reasonable accommodations to people with disabilities. This video guide explains your rights as a person with a disability to reasonable accommodations in North Carolina courts. What is a reasonable accommodation? A reasonable accommodation is a modification or adjustment to the physical environment or to policies, procedures, or practices that are necessary to provide equal access to the courthouse or court services for a person with a disability. Court personnel will gather information to better understand how to provide equal access to the courthouse or court processes for a person with a disability. Depending on the circumstances, the reasonable accommodation you receive may not be your first choice of accommodation. Following is a series of examples of accommodations for different types of disabilities. These are only examples. Modifications are specific to the individual and type of disability. Accommodations for people with visual impairments. Written materials provided in an alternate content, read aloud, text recognition, or distances translation. Lighting or seating adjusted. Human guide or dog guide allowed in the courtroom. Accommodations for people with hearing loss. Licensed sign language interpreters during court proceedings. Communication access real-time translation, or CART, or real-time court reporters. FM transmitter system. Accommodations for people with physical disabilities. Proceedings held in accessible courtroom. Accessible restrooms available. Trained service animal allowed in courtroom. Accommodations for people with hidden disabilities, brain injuries, psychiatric and/or medical disabilities. Provide extra time for periodic breaks. Hold hearing in an alternate location. Modify scheduling to allow for specific time of day. Eligibility for accommodations in court. Any person with a disability who is visiting a courthouse, observing court, or participating in North Carolina court programs, services, and/or activities can receive reasonable accommodations. This includes people who are parties or witnesses in a trial or hearing, people serving as jurors, people participating in court activities such as filing, conferences, or hearings. To determine whether you need to request an accommodation, you may want to find out the following information before you go to court whenever possible. The physical arrangement of the room you will be in, the lighting and acoustics of the room, the availability of accessible bathrooms, elevators, etc. The distance or angle of your seat from the judge, witness stand, attorneys, or jury. How to request accommodations. Submit your request for accommodations to the Disability Access Coordinator in your county as early as possible. All requests for accommodations should be made prior to your court date or business with the court whenever possible. It is recommended that requests be made at least 2 weeks before your visit. Each courthouse has a Disability Access Coordinator, or DAC, to help the public with accommodations. Contact information for your local DAC can be found on the Judicial Branch website at nccourts.gov/disability or email to countyname.dac@nccourts.org, for example, wake.dac@nccourts.org. When making your request for reasonable accommodation, you will be asked to share some information about the following: yourself, your name, individual needs as related to your disability, your business with the court, your case, the case file number, location or room number, date of court proceedings, the specific accommodation or accommodations you need in order to fully participate in the case or conduct other business with the court, your attorney's contact information if applicable. Be prepared to explain the nature of your disability, how you think it will affect your full participation in the case or prevent you from conducting your business with the court, and how the requested accommodation will resolve the issue. Denials of requests for accommodations. The court can deny your request for reasons such as the requested accommodation would fundamentally alter the court process. The requested process would impose an undue financial burden on the court. You are requesting a personal device such as a hearing aid. If your request is denied, consider finding a reasonable alternative that is not a fundamental alteration or undue burden on the court. Questions and complaints. Contact the North Carolina Disability Access Coordinator at 919-890-1200 or dac@nccourts.org for help with questions or requests for assistance that could not be answered locally. A grievance procedure is available to the public for complaints about compliance with the ADA. Find it at nccourts.gov/disability. Each county's local government is responsible for ensuring accessibility of its courthouse building. If you have concerns regarding the physical accessibility of a courthouse building, contact your county manager. For more information on accessibility in our state courts, visit nccourts.gov/disability or ada.gov. This video was produced by the North Carolina Judicial Branch Communications Office in partnership with Court Programs and the Office of General Counsel. Special thanks to Disability Rights.